Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Just Roll With It, where I talk about some of my favorite places to take film photos. In this one, it's the last of the immediate batch here, and I'm going to talk about taking pictures in your local neighborhood. This is a bit of an interesting one because, of course, any place you're new to has the biggest appeal of taking pictures, and the streets you walk, the places you go and see, so on and so on, are all new and fresh at that point, which most would say I think has the biggest appeal of any place is just the fact that it's new and you haven't seen it before, so you get to document a new place. Places like your local neighborhood or where you live, where you spend most of your time, it teach you persistence of photography. They teach you kind of the whole idea of making the ordinary extraordinary, because it's a place that you see over and over and over again. Now, some might say you get worn out with this style of photography or this way of shooting pictures. Some of that's true, but I actually appreciate the idea that I get to see some places differently on a random day, just where the light hits differently, where the shadows are different, so on and so on. Just the fact that light changes a place, there might be a different car on the street. People are always doing different things every day. Just the fact that even though the place is the same, the randomness of it all is what changes. So this has been a fun experiment. Obviously, if you know me, you know that I work in the same neighborhood that I live here in Minneapolis. So I'm out on the street a lot as long as the weather's not too hot or not too cold. But this has been great to just walk around and see what I see, right? Sometimes I'll take a different route to work to see if there's anything new on a particular street, or maybe even the same street 30 out of 31 days in a month is the same, but on a random day somebody's doing construction or out taking their dog for a walk in the right lighting condition on the right block or something like that, So this has been really cool just to see in real life. I get to practice my street photography, get to work up the courage, to do that. And just you get to learn how to experiment, just kind of, like I said, shooting the ordinary, making decisions about lighting and shadow and people, and just, again, practice, I guess, is another thing to think about, in that you get to see the same thing over and over and over again. So if you see somebody walking down the street one day and you don't have the courage to take that picture, you might see them or somebody else 2 days in the future and things just work out. All right, just a quick editor's note here from future me. If you haven't seen this series, Just Roll With It before, there will be film photos sprinkled throughout this video and a big montage at the end of neighborhood shots in this case. I didn't explicitly mention that in the video just because I was so excited to share the tips and story with you guys, but there will be photos sprinkled throughout the video and a big old montage of neighborhood shots at the end. So that's it. Now back to the video. So I've been shooting film for most of the time that I've lived where I live right now, and so you can see, might even see some of the same streets, some of the same houses in some of these pictures, but the really cool thing is there's different things happening in each of them, or the lighting's different, or so on and so on. So this is one of my favorite things to do, is just have a camera with me wherever I go in this neighborhood, because the neighborhood is the same, the streets are the same, but you never know, the subjects, the things that pique your interest are still changing. So I guess if I were to come up with a theme for a video like this in shooting your neighborhood, or the place you live, is just don't be afraid when things get boring or things are ordinary. This can seem like a really hard topic when everything's the same, but there are things, like I've said, that do change. The lighting changes, the people change, the time of the year changes if you live in a colder climate. Things just change, right? Your perspective on shot composition or just what makes a good photo changes based on what you see on social media or what you see in books or so on and so on. So I guess just don't be scared. It's also a good opportunity for practice, as I've said, taking pictures to work up the courage to take street photos, or just practicing shooting from the hip, which I've done a few times and hasn't really worked out yet, but that's another reason. So yeah, just don't be afraid of the ordinary. Practice, use it as a chance to focus on different parts of photography. But this is, again, just a look at one of the favorite places I like to take pictures, in that it's just your local neighborhood, my local Minneapolis neighborhood, the local neighborhood wherever you live. Just don't be afraid when things get boring. It's a good chance to experiment and practice and just try new things. All right, so that's it for this episode of Just Roll With It, where I showed you some of my favorite places to take film photographs. In this case, we're talking about just my local neighborhood, your local neighborhood, just the places you see every day. They're good excuses to practice, good excuses to try new things, good excuses just to test how your photographic abilities change or evolve or are different day to day, because it is something creative and not scientific after all, to an extent. So I hope you liked it. Let me know in the comments below where you live or where you use these principles to try new things or just experiment and practice. I'll be interested to hear where your kind of local canvas is. So again, that's it for this episode. Just roll with it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.